Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the Mauser Kar98k review series. This section will cover the selections of surplus ammunition available today for your Mauser Kar98k, and just some other accessories and little tidbits to make your collection look a little more complete. One of the great things about having a Mauser Kar98k, or any other rifle in 8mm Mauser, also known as 8x57mm JS or IS, or 7.92 by 57mm JS or IS, they all mean the same thing. And the great thing about having, again, a Mauser Kar98k or any other rifle in 8mm is that there's a wide selection of surplus ammunition that's available. We have here on the far left Yugoslavian manufacture, oftentimes packed on these stripper clips in 15-round boxes. This one, I believe, has, you can see, not really, in the lower right, 11-1956, which leads me to think it was made in November of 1956. And the next you have, in the middle, steel-cased Romanian, and these often come in these gray cardboard boxes. These come packed 20 to a box, while the Yugoslavian boxes come packed 15. Yugoslavian rounds can be packed either on stripper clips or in loose rounds. I've seen both, at least in my area. And on the far right, we have Turkish wartime manufacture, nickel-plated stuff on brass stripper clips. I find them most often packed in these bandoliers. And I'll spend some time talking about each one a little more in depth. Okay, in front of us we have the Yugoslavian manufactured 8mm Mauser, 8x57mm IS or JS. Depending on who you buy it from, they'll say it has either a 196, 198, some will even say 197 grain bullet, copper plated. I always get mine packed on stripper clips. They often come in the boxes, just packed on stripper clips. I haven't actually opened this one yet, but I'll show you. And these are very close to German wartime manufacture. You see, this box has never been opened before, and they come packed 15 to a box on 5-round clips. As I said, they're very close to German wartime manufacture, which is why I prefer these. Occasionally you'll get hang fires or duds from them. Mostly, the only times I ever got them were when I was shooting in the winter, in a very cold environment, which probably delays the primer somewhat. And these stripper clips they come on are stainless steel. They work flawlessly inside the gun. You can look at part 1. I was using these clips and this ammo, and they just feed flawlessly into the gun. They shoot well. They group well enough. I think they actually group very well. And it's just my favorite stuff to shoot, period. Okay, what we have here is Romanian 154 grain steel cased 8mm Mauser, packed on Yugoslavian 8mm stripper clips. They come in, as I said, in these gray boxes. They're loose. I hear some of them do come packed on clips, but those are extremely tough to push into the magazine of a Kar98k. And to some extent, with these Yugoslavian stripper clips, they're also quite hard at times. It's like 50-50. Sometimes they go in okay, sometimes you really have to shove them in there. And this stuff is it's steel cased, lacquer coated, and lacquer sealed. As you can see, the case is quite shiny underneath the light. It's sealed, and around the primer as well. And I'm going to see, well, like I said, some of it binds up when you push it into the magazine. This one, it really depends on just the clip and the ammo that you put it on. For example, this one really binds up, while this one goes in okay, I guess. So I'm going to see if I can get a shot of that. Alright, I'm going to show you the Romanian 154 grain steel case lacquer coated ammo. And like I said, this stuff is really a 50-50 chance when it comes to the ease of entering the magazine. Some of the stuff, like, it really depends on just the individual rounds and the clip you loaded on, really. Like this one works fine, while this one's a pain in the ass. So I'll show you. This first one doesn't require too much effort, just not too much effort. But this next one here, real pain in the ass. Just doesn't... What the... God... You can... I mean, I'm... give up. I give up. It just doesn't want to go in. Yeah. Maybe it was just this one individual round. I don't know. Alright, finally we got some Turkish wartime surplus ammunition. You can't read the head stamp, but take my word for it, it says 1944. And these are nickel-plated, 154 grain, I believe. And these rounds are loaded hot. Very hot. I've been told that out of a 29-inch barrel, which is a Mauser long rifle, or like a a Gewehr 98 or something thereabouts with that kind of length, these will come out at approximately 2,900 feet per second. Some people have even said over 3,000 or around 3,000. I don't have a chronograph. I've only read internet tales about it, so take that for what it's worth. They come packed on these brass stripper clips. They're rather flimsy. They let the round flop all over the place, as you can see here, as opposed to like the Yugoslav ones, which keep them pretty straight. They don't flop, whereas these ones do. And as you can see, the bottom round's starting to fall off. Kind of sloppy, but they get the job done. Also, they go into the gun just fine. Not as smoothly as, say, the Yugoslav rounds do, but they get the job done. And these clips, when you drop them when you chamber the round, when the clip gets ejected, it usually hits the ground with an audible. Here, let me try it. There. And so I guess it's kind of like the Garen ping, if you will, but rather than indicating a unloaded weapon or an empty weapon, it indicates a fully loaded weapon. So don't pop your head up when you hear that. These 5-round stripper clips, for the most part, that I've seen, come packed on these rather flimsy bandoliers, which I guess are meant to be disposable. But as you can see, just the quality of the stitching isn't very high, and these buttons are more like pressed pieces of sheet metal, or cut pieces of sheet metal. They're quite thin. You could easily cut yourself if you push too hard the wrong way. Okay, what we have here are a few accessories and other little tidbits that if you decide to purchase them and obtain them, they'll make your collection and your Kar98k just look a little more complete. Let's get these out of the way. These are just, again, brass and stainless steel stripper clips. As I already said, the stainless steel is from Yugoslavia, the brass ones are from Turkey, and the brass ones tend to go ping when they're ejected out of the guides, whereas the brass ones, the stainless steel ones, just go clickety-clack. And now, and you can get these clips real cheap too. I have a whole bag of them right here. I never actually bought clips separate from the rifle, with the exception of my other rifles, like the Mauser Nagant, or my soon-to-be my Type 38 Arisaka, or my 96/11 Swiss straight pull, because all my ammo tends to come packed on these clips, so it's like a 2-for-1 deal. Alright, now I'm going to quickly cover some of these other items. Okay, the two items you see in front of me are the cleaning rod, the original cleaning rod, and the original sling that came with my Mauser Kar98k when I walked out of the shop with it. The cleaning rod is there are two versions used by the Germans, an earlier 10.5-inch one and a later 12.5-inch one. I'm not exactly sure why they changed it over. I think, according, if my memory serves me right, it's because the channel inside the gun, to provide either stability, I think, to keep the wood from cracking, they made the channel a bit longer with this rod on the inside. My gun, this rifle takes the 12-inch or 12.5-inch, I forget the exact dimensions, or somewhere around there. But the original 10.5-inch one, when I had it, it only came out about this far. So I got a repro to replace that one, and just to make the gun look complete. And the Germans originally, what you do is you get 3 soldiers together, and you take your cleaning rods, and there are threads on the inside. You attach them to each other like a 3-piece cleaning rod, and then you could clean out your barrels that way. Okay, now the sling. The original sling is very old, very worn, as you can see, and so I decided to replace it with this one here. It works very well. As far as I can tell, it's just a direct copy of the original. As far as aiming, I have adjusted it to the right length such that I can wrap my arm around it, and it'll help me stabilize myself. But I'm not sure if that's the original way the German soldiers were taught to use it. I personally don't know. And as I mentioned earlier, this is in part 1. This sight hood is also a repro. Okay, now what I have in front of me is this sharp and pointy object. As you may have guessed, it's a bayonet. This one was originally made by Czechoslovakia. This is not German, but it has been modified by the Germans to fit the K98k to their standards. So, you can tell it's Czechoslovakian first of all because it has these markings here. There's an H, the Czech line, and then a 27, which I assume is the manufacture dates. And then also on the blade, you can see for once CSZ, and underneath that is an E. So this is undeniably Czechoslovakian. Also, if you look at it, I guess these things are called sword bayonets because they resemble a sword in profile. The sharp end is on the wrong side. It's on the side facing towards you, while the flat end faces away from you, and the fuller, consequentially, is on the wrong side as well. And as I said, these were modified by the Germans because they originally had a muzzle ring here, a ring that would have formed a circle to fit on the end of the muzzle here, but the Germans, for whatever reason or another, didn't like it, so they ground off the ring such that there's only a small portion remaining. And to fit this thing on, what you do is you slide it over the cleaning rod and then just push. Now you're ready to stab something. To take it off, just push this button here and then slide off. German bayonets, as far as I know, come in wood grips and Bakelite grips. The Bakelite ones have gripping grooves in them, while the wood ones, I assume, are just like this. And I think the Czech blade is a bit longer than the K98k blade, rather the German blades, but I have yet to see one in person, so I personally don't know. Okay, what I have in front of me are 2 cans of World War II U.S. bore cleaner. I'm not sure if you can call this an accessory or whatever, but it's historical, it's nice to have. I think the Germans use ballistol, I don't know. I heard that somewhere, not entirely sure. This stuff cost me $3 a can from an army surplus store. Real cheap. These things last me months. As you can see, this is 6 ounces of good stuff. And you can instead of using this, you can also use, like, if you can't find this, you can also use hot water and soap, or ammonia, or rather Windex with ammonia in it, something to neutralize the corrosive salts, because the salts attract water, and water obviously makes for pitting and rust and whatnot. And just as a warning, this stuff smells real bad. Work in a ventilated space. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, I'm in a bad room right now. So I'm going to close it up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Work in a ventilated space, or else your IQ will drop before you know it, and people will be calling you Simple Jack. So I'm going to air out this room now. Okay, approaching home stretch here with our final 2 items. We have here an ammo can and an ammo pouch. Neither are German, but they should suffice for my purposes. The ammo pouch is of Russian manufacture. It's for the Mauser Kar98k 9130. And it's similar to the German one, in the German pouch in construction. It's got a flap on top, kept in place by this leather strip, which is in turn kept in place by this metal prong here. So if you open it up, you can get access to your ammo. As you can see, each cell holds 3 clips, and each pouch unit would hold 30, therefore, and a soldier would have worn 2 of these on his belt, so for a total of 60 rounds. The German ones have 3 cells instead of 2. They're also made out of leather. They tend to be black in color. and each cell on the German one would hold 2 instead of 3. So again, for a total of 60 rounds, plus whatever he could carry in his jacket pockets and whatnot. This ammo can is obviously not German. It's 4762 by 51 NATO. I don't understand all this M mumbo jumbo here. Maybe you guys can. I don't. And it's just a really convenient way to store your surplus ammo. One nice thing about these cans is that they tend to be lined with this rubber barrier, this rubber sealants to make it moisture proof, I guess, waterproof maybe, I don't know. And this is my small stash of Yugoslavian 8mm Mauser. It's a really convenient way, especially if you have boxes or stripper clips. I have underneath 5 layers of stripper clips, I have boxes. So it's just a really convenient way to store ammo, and I highly recommend you get one of these. They're really convenient. So this concludes part 2.